Tonight, more than 30 missing kids from San Antonio now safe thanks to local and federal law enforcement. But this is only the beginning. We're going to explain Operation Lightning Bug. And the FBI has released new photos and surveillance footage of a suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Plus, a fight over race and money. The Department of Education says that a grant program used by colleges in San Antonio is racially discriminatory. But the universities say, no, they're not.
Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
More than 30 local children now are out of harm's way, and that's thanks to something called Operation Lightning Bug. San Antonio police and U.S. Marshals worked together to find kids who were reported missing, but we know that now their work is far from over. Earlier, I spoke with a spokesperson from the San Antonio Police Department who shared that the kids were from 13 through 17 years old. SAPD and the U.S. Marshals looked through a database of missing kids from the San Antonio area, and they really homed in, getting every bit of information about them. And in less than 3 weeks, they found more than 30 kids. San Antonio police say that some of them are back with their families, and the ones who aren't, we're told, at least are safe tonight. Authorities say the kids were at high risk of being exploited by traffickers and predators, and to be clear, they say that some of them were in fact being trafficked. Police say that 6 trafficking survivors are now getting help through victim services. The trafficking aspect, however, that's why this investigation we know is expanding, because San Antonio police have already arrested several people, at least 3 of them, for harboring a runaway. Investigators have also executed 9 felony arrest warrants and now opened 5 human trafficking investigations. The San Antonio police and U.S. Marshals say that as a result of Operation Lightning Bug, other kids besides the more than 30 that we just told you about are also back in their homes tonight. As of tonight, San Antonio police say that 45 minors in our city are still missing. The FBI now continues searching for the person who shot and killed conservative activist Charlie Kirk yesterday. And they want to make sure that everybody sees new photos and new surveillance footage of the suspect. So we want you to take a look at what you're about to see, because here you can see someone running across the roof of a building right there at Utah Valley University before jumping to the ground and then making his escape. The FBI has also released enhanced photos of the suspect, which you're about to see, because they say that they also found, there you go, they also found the shooter's gun. And according to CNN sources, investigators are examining the weapon, including cultural phrases that were written on the rifle and also on the ammunition. The FBI is offering up to $100,000 for any information that leads to the suspect's capture. Here in San Antonio, a church community gathered tonight in honor of Charlie Kirk. More than 100 people went to the Christian Family Church on the north side to remember Kirk's life and also pray for his family.
Not only was he a great debater, but I believe that he was a modern-day evangelist that spoke about Jesus every single moment that he possibly could.
Also tonight, the chairwoman of the Republican Party of Bexar County, Chris Coons, released a statement about Kirk's death and addressed political violence, saying in part, quote, "There's no place in our democracy for hatred, intimidation, or bloodshed. Violence is never the answer. It serves only to deepen wounds and undermine the very freedoms that define our country," end quote. New on the Nightbeat tonight, a battle over race, at least according to one side of the argument. Hispanic-serving institutions are expecting to lose some $350 million in federal grants that typically have helped them operate. And that's because the U.S. Department of Education is calling those grants racially discriminatory. The Night Team's Zaria Oates spoke with 2 organizations right in the middle of the fallout here in San Antonio.
$350 million will be stripped away from colleges and universities all across the country. This is specifically impacting Hispanic-serving institutions like San Antonio College.
It is not about race. It is truly about access and possibilities.
Back in July, the Department of Justice said it wouldn't defend the Higher Education Act in court. That law lets the Department of Education give grants to Hispanic-serving institutions, or HSIs, colleges with at least 25% Hispanic students. In our area, that includes 12 schools in San Antonio, 1 in Universal City, and 1 in Seguin. One of them, Our Lady of the Lake University, has received $12 million in grants over the last 5 years.
The money is going to help improve the institution as a whole.
Dr. Munguia with OLLU says the reason this is frustrating is because the developing HSI grants benefit all students, no matter their race, and it does not fund scholarships.
What it does instead is it improves the programs that the student is participating in. So it helps us to train faculty so that faculty, are always on the cutting edge of better teaching methods. It helps to develop new programs, remodeling our STEM laboratories.
While the DOJ won't advocate for these schools, the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, or HACU, is.
Eliminating those funds is really limiting the possibilities for our San Antonio community. And it will impact not only large universities, but most certainly community college, small universities, small institutions that need those funds in order to continue with their mission.
On Wednesday, the Department of Education's Linda McMahon sent a letter saying 7 minority-serving grant programs are ending because they violate the Fifth Amendment. She said these programs, quote, discriminate to meet racial quotas. That means $350 million will be redistributed.
The statements that were actually issued yesterday by the Department of Education represent a true attack on equity.
It's unclear exactly what a legal battle will look like, especially since HACU filed a motion to intervene back in July. But as we learn more, we'll keep you updated. Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
2 teen brothers appearing in court today facing capital murder charges in the shooting death of 14-year-old Simon Cuevas. That's the SAISD student who was shot and killed back in April. According to court hearings, those teens who turned themselves in on August 14th both have prior records and issues in juvenile detention. Their mother asked for their release, but the judge said no. So they're going to stay in custody until their next hearing, which should take place on September 25th. Investigators say that 2 other people were also involved in this case. 18-year-old Fernando Flores, who's in jail now, awaiting indictment. And then there's 20-year-old Cesar Tijerina, who died last month after a self-inflicted shooting. Some relief tonight for Kerrville city workers. The city now offering them a 3rd health insurance plan. And this announcement comes after workers in Kerrville told KSAT that they were worried about not being able to afford higher health insurance payments. So now they can choose a new PPO option. It's a mid-tier plan. They're going to have access to out-of-network coverage at a lower cost than the most expensive plan that they were being offered. The city says that it's going to cover the complete cost for employees on this new plan. In a statement to KSAT, City Manager Dalton Rice said that the city is committed to taking care of its employees. There's a new state law that's aimed at helping incarcerated veterans. Maybe you've heard of it. Senate Bill 2938. It went into effect last week. So now every time that someone goes into a county jail, sheriffs have to verify whether that person also served in the military. So I looked into how that law is working over at the Bexar County Jail and also how it can help veterans there get back on the right track.
There's a lot of vets, like, I got little problems, conditions, but there's a lot of them out there so lost that they don't know how to get back.
Do you think that you were dealing with mental issues?
Oh yeah, I got mental issues too, but I'm coping with it.
That's Morris Austin. He's 66, a veteran.
I served in the military from 78 to 81.
And recently spent months at the Bexar County Jail for a drug charge. Now that Morris is out, he wants to stay out and build a new life. Luckily, he has the essentials, food and a place to stay. He's also getting help through the Bexar County Military and Veterans Service Center.
We offer employment services that can assist. We have a peer support and a financial assistance program.
Keith Wilson is the executive director of the Veterans Service Center. The goal of the agency is to help all veterans, including those who are in jail. And that's where SB 2938 comes in. It went into effect September 1st and requires Texas jails to verify the veteran status of inmates when they come into the jail. Before, that process was inconsistent.
We're not starting from zero.
We spoke with Sheriff Javier Salazar about how he's implementing SB 2938.
We have a system in place that will identify someone as a veteran, even in the event that they check no.
That verification is supposed to make it easier to connect veterans with services from the moment they get to the jail.
What we want to do is show them a road that's hopefully going to prevent them from coming back.
That's why Sheriff Salazar supports the new law.
We owe it to our veterans to take care of them. I'm a firm believer that not everybody in the jail is, quote unquote, a dangerous person. Many times people wind up in jail for circumstances well beyond their control.
Back to Morris, he was out of jail before the law went into effect, but he's optimistic about what it could do for veterans in jail. He just hopes they get the help they need.
Just try to maintain, and when you get out, try to find a support group, get your support group.
Good advice. The sheriff says that right now, at least 112 veterans are behind bars at the Bexar County Jail. In other news tonight, today marks 24 years since the deadly terrorist attacks of September 11th. And tonight at the VFW 76 downtown, veterans and community members gathered to honor the 3,000 lives that we lost in New York, Virginia, and Pennsylvania 24 years ago. One veteran that we spoke with said that he was an SAPD instructor at the time of the attacks, and this is how he remembered that day.
When I saw the second plane crash, I knew as a 11-year active duty military veteran and a Green Beret, and then being in the reserves, that we're at war.
The VFW has ceremonies for Remembrance Days throughout the year to educate the public and also remind them to never forget about the sacrifices that our servicemen and women have made for this country. Still ahead on the Nightbeat, a new episode of Behind the Kitchen Door where we actually went behind the kitchen door to see how one restaurant is improving. Plus, relief across a neighborhood after the people accused of stealing their mail get arrested. Now's your chance to nominate your favorite educator at your child's school or your school for KSAT's Educator of the Month award. You can start by scanning that QR code on your screen. You can also visit our website at KSAT.com and then search for Educator of the Month. It's a great opportunity to shine a spotlight on the very people who do so much for our students and our communities. 2 people behind bars tonight after being accused of stealing mail from a West Bexar County neighborhood right near Marbach Road and Loop 1604. So these suspects are 37-year-old Cecily Beltran and 29-year-old Marcos Martinez Jr. Bexar County Sheriff's deputies arrested them yesterday. They say that they caught them with a stack of mail from about 15 different people. Neighbors in that area are saying that mail theft has been a problem for months, and one of them even told us that he's starting a neighborhood watch to stop it. I have to take a pause before I start this next story because we're talking about roaches found in a kitchen, even on food. When Daniela Ibarra stopped by, the restaurant's owner then invited her behind the kitchen door. Watch.
Just off McCullough and St. Mary's in downtown San Antonio, you'll find Guillermo's. Inspectors checked out the pale yellow restaurant and issued 13 demerits. They found dead roaches in the bar and in a prep cooler and a live roach on ham.
How have you guys fixed your roach problem?
We have exterminators. We get bi-monthly treatment, and we're happy to show you around.
And that's exactly what the owner, Guillermo, did.
Hi guys, we got KSAT 12 here. Howdy guys. Guys, how's the roach problem? Is it under control?
I will say you're the first restaurant owner that we've had that's actually taken us behind the kitchen. Why do you want customers to see this?
Because look, especially in today's climate, we need to be as transparent as possible.
He says keeping pests out of the old building is a challenge.
There's some things right there.
He also showed us the ice machine. Inspectors say they found black and red residue there.
There was some mold in here today on the shade.
And what's your goal for the next time a food inspector drops by your restaurant?
Well, to do the exact same, to get better and better and better at it. So our goal is to reach 100, right? How about that? Hello, ma'am. Welcome to Guillermo's.
Guillermo says he hopes to earn a perfect score.
I appreciate you for being transparent and showing us everything and talking with us about it.
That's what's behind the kitchen door. I'm Daniela Ibarra.
Kudos to him for letting us actually go behind and see some of that operation. We also want to let you know about restaurants that earn perfect scores. We have a few of them listed on this story on KSAT.com. Just look for them on our website. Okay, so now I want to take things outside, Adam. 84 degrees. You've been talking about the forecast being just a copy and paste kind of a thing, but give us an update on our drought conditions.
Yeah, I mean, going forward, more of the same. But luckily, we have more to talk about. We had the drought monitor updated today after some good rainfall over the weekend, and the changes may not make everybody that happy, but I'm going to tell you why we didn't see huge changes. So first, take a look at last week's drought monitor, and especially pay attention to the area from Medina Lake to Helotes to San Antonio International Airport. Okay, right there in the center part of your screen. I'm going to point it out for you. Right here on the top of that red line. Now, let's go to the update. 3, 2, 1. And see a minor improvement right here, basically along the aquifer recharge zone where we had 2 to 3 inches of rainfall over the weekend. Otherwise, no other very big or noticeable changes to talk about. But this still is a lot better than what we had before we went into summer and when the rains started to greet us. Now, here's one reason why the aquifer, or I should say the drought monitor is still kind of in rough shape for us, at least for parts of our area. But the aquifers are way below average. I mean, J17 well, the aquifer reading that we go for in San Antonio, 27.2 feet below average. Uvalde aquifer, almost 31 feet below average. And spring flow is down as well. I mean, we're talking 153 cubic feet per second below average at Comal Springs. So things have greened up here, up top, on the ground at the surface, but underneath, we still need a lot more water, and we need to fill the aquifers. We had a few showers today, and this is the 10% chance we're going to have daily, far east and southeast of San Antonio, closer to the Gulf Coast. And some of our eastern counties, Lavaca County, DeWitt County, Goliad County, and surrounding areas, you can't rule out a stray shower, but that's going to be it. They're not going to be making their way to San Antonio. Here's what we have. The upper level high, the big blue H. That always means dry. High means dry, and you see how it's going to deflect the active weather around us. As clockwise circulation, it's stubborn, and it closes the door to any disturbances. So the red L's you see, those upper lows, they're active weather. We need them to dig into Texas to give us more rain. That's just not going to be the case within the next about 7 to 9 days. Beyond then, there's some indications that we may see some changes. But for at least the next week, more of the same. That actually favors above average temperatures for a good chunk of the country, near average up in Wyoming, but that's about it. And then the below average precipitation for us around here. That's no surprise. I mean, we're used to that. One little area we're watching in the tropics, it's a tropical wave, a ripple in the upper flow coming off of Africa. 30% chance of that developing into a tropical cyclone over the next 5 to 10 days, or 5 to 7 days, I should say. Then we have Tropical Depression 13 in the eastern Pacific. This is just south of Mexico. This will be tracking parallel to the Mexican coastline and strengthening a bit. And sometimes, such as last weekend, we tap into the leftover moisture and rain-making energy from those. Unfortunately, there are no indications that's going to happen because of the upper level high in place, the big blue H. 93 today. Just 2 degrees above average. And across the state, we had one triple-digit reading. Laredo at 100, the rest of us in the 90s. And the average high down to 91. By this time next month, the average high is down to 81. So we'll start to turn that corner slowly, at least climatologically speaking. Tomorrow morning, low 70s in town. In the hill country, some mid to upper 60s, but we'll start the day in San Antonio, 72, 87 at noon, then 95, the afternoon high, meaning 96 again. 95 in Uvalde, Comfort 93, and Bernie 92. And I admitted this at 6 o'clock, Steph.
Uh-oh.
Pretty consistent temperatures. I only varied them a degree because you're not going to feel it and it just looks better on the screen than having the same number every day. Honest meteorologist here.
We're all about transparency here. Adam, thank you for that. There's one football team that is on fire.
Yes, John Jay absolutely playing some really good football, and they opened up their district part of the schedule tonight against South Santa. It was a pretty low-scoring affair, and we've also got a 28-6A district contest, and in that one, Boots got loose. We got it coming up. Your undefeated South San Bobcats played the undefeated John Jay Mustangs tonight at the Gus in a District 14-5A D1 opener for both sides. First quarter, Jay quarterback Tajari Wellington rolls out to escape pressure, and on the run he fires a pretty pass to Miles Gutierrez, and he's tackled down just short of the goal line. 24-yard gain. The Bobcats temporarily saving a touchdown. Moments later, Jay cashes in. Handoff goes to Brendan Oliver, and he gets Jay on the board. They went for two and converted as John Jay led 8-0. Also your halftime score when our photog left. And Jay wins in a shutout 15-0 to improve to 3-0. South San is now 2-1. Let's go to Ferris Stadium for a District 28 6A opener between the Marshall Rams and the Taft Raiders. And this game was pretty much all Taft Raiders. First quarter, Taft with the ball. The handoff goes to Boots Williams. He gets to the outside, and he's thinking touchdown, but he's tackled just short of the end zone. Moments later, Boots scores the short touchdown behind his offensive line, and the Taft Raiders lead it 7-0. Second quarter, Taft ball after the Rams turned it over. QB Tucker Vogel, play action to Boots, and then he throws the ball to Jonah Guerra for a 14-yard touchdown, and the Raiders go up 14-0. Number 12 is super excited, as he should be, and Taft wins 35-7, improving to 2-1. Another scores tonight: the Johnson Jaguars won on the road at McAllen Memorial 38-10. Laredo Alexander won a Bernie champion 35-28. Somerset topped the Jefferson Mustangs 42-14. Harlandale rolled Edison 61-0 at the SAISD Sports Complex, and Burbank at Luling was canceled tonight because of a social media threat. Brandeis at Steele is our game of the week. The Knights will host the Broncos tomorrow night at 7:30 at Lenhoff Stadium. It's the final non-district tune-up for Brandeis. Both teams are 2-0. And the road trip tomorrow night will see Cotulla at Pearsall, Natalia at the Vine, and the last game will see Bendera at Lido. We will hear from the Pearsall Mavericks tomorrow night at 6, and then at 7 p.m. streaming on KSAT Sports Now. All right. Now that Micah Parsons is no longer with Dallas, the Cowboys need some pass rushing help, so they brought in former overall #1 draft pick Jadeveon Clowney, who's currently a free agent. Coach Shoddy said they were doing their homework by bringing him in, and they needed to, because Parsons' loss was immediately felt in the boys' season-opening loss to the Eagles. Defensive tackle Osa Odigizua was asked about Clowney's visit.
It's football. I mean, especially in the league, you never know. It's a new face every week, you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. Whoever enters this locker room is going to be welcomed with open arms. I like what I'm seeing, a lot of promise, you know what I mean? Just got to continue to communicate, rush forward as one, and it's going to come together.
Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott has won 13 straight games against the Giants dating back to 2017. Dallas will host New York Sunday at noon, and KSAT 12 Sports will be there. The Houston Texans will close out week 2 when they play under the bright lights of Monday Night Football versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at NRG Stadium. The Texans lost their season opener at the LA Rams 14-9. They failed to score a touchdown, and they turned the ball over twice. Today, C.J. Stroud was asked about the areas they need to fix going into this week.
Well, we got to help Kels out, man. I think that's my biggest thing personally, and I think for the guys is not giving. What play are you going to call on 2nd and 15, 2nd and 25? And we've had these problems for years, you know. So 3rd and 14, 3rd and 12, like you can't live in that. And we do our coaches discourtesy of that and that's controllable by us. So I think that's a start. Personally, I got to be better.
The Texans will wear their Liberty white uniforms Monday night. You can watch the game live right here on KSAT 12. We've got the hometown showdown after the break.